Okay, picture this. It's around 170 AD. Rome is, well, it's everything. Britain to Egypt, it's all under Roman control. And on the throne, Marcus Aurelius, an emperor. A samurai, you could say. He has staggering power, Arnie's wealth, you name it. But imagine him, late at night, the empire's facing plague, wars on the frontiers, immense pressure. And what's he doing? He's not drafting battle plans. He's writing in his private journal, asking himself things like, how do I stay calm? How do I find peace when everything feels like it's falling apart? Okay, let's unpack this. Because what we're looking at here isn't just some old diary, it's the Meditations. It's basically a masterclass in philosophy, specifically Stoicism, written by someone living it at the highest level. So our mission today is to dive deep into this ancient guide. It's really a blueprint for inner strength, for finding peace no matter what chaos life throws at you.
It's absolutely fascinating, isn't it? That these private thoughts of a Roman emperor give us such a direct line into Stoic practice. We're not just reading summaries. We're seeing how someone with, frankly, immense power and responsibility tried to conquer his own mind. And what these writings really hammer home is that true strength, real power, it isn't about controlling the world outside. It's internal. It starts with understanding what you can control and what you just can't. And that's where peace begins. We're essentially digging into this wisdom to help you find that same clarity.
Right, because we all waste so much energy, don't we? Worrying about things totally outside our sphere, like getting furious about traffic or obsessing over what someone might think or some future disaster that hasn't even happened. It just eats up the present moment. We end up feeling like victims of circumstance, tossed around by events. But this philosophy, it sort of flips that entirely. It makes you stop and ask, okay, where does my actual control begin and end?
That's the absolute cornerstone. The Stoics called it the dichotomy of control. Marcus Aurelius was very clear on this. He saw life divided into two bins, basically. Things up to us, our judgments, our choices, our reactions, and things not up to us, pretty much everything else.
Everything else being why? Like other people?
Other people's actions, their opinions, definitely. Also, external events, your health to a large degree, the weather, whether you get that promotion, the list is long. And the core insight from Meditations is this. Almost all our suffering comes from investing our sense of self-worth, our happiness, in that second bin, the not up to us bin. We're basically outsourcing our peace of mind.
Okay, but practically, let's take that traffic example. Someone cuts you off, that flash of anger that feels automatic, almost biological. How do you genuinely control that?
Well, the philosophy argues the anger isn't caused by the driver cutting you off. The anger is caused by your instant judgment. This shouldn't happen. This is bad. This is an insult. The event itself, it's neutral. Just a car changing lanes.
Yeah.
It only gets power over you when you lend it power through your judgment. That's the art here. Self-control isn't about suppressing the feeling necessarily, but about examining the judgment behind the feeling.
So if someone insults you...
Their words are just vibrations in the air, right?
Yeah.
They control the noise. But you control whether that noise lands as a psychological blow. If you choose to remain calm, centered, you haven't just avoided getting upset, you've actually retained your power. Your mind is still your own fortress. You've won that internal battle.
Okay, that makes sense. Moving from external events to our internal state then, let's talk about that feeling of restlessness. Even when life looks good on paper, stable job, family, whatever, there can still be this underlying hum of anxiety. It proves that peace isn't something you just get when you achieve X or Y. That whole I'll be happy when cycle is endless.
It absolutely is endless.
Yeah.
Because it mistakes external achievements for internal calm. Serenity, the way Marcus Aurelius writes about it, isn't a prize you win, it's a state you cultivate, day by day. It's a discipline of the mind. Maybe call it mindfulness of will. There's a useful analogy here, like a lake. If the water, your mind is choppy and turbulent, what happens to your reflection?
It's distorted, you can't see clearly.
Exactly. Your clarity, your decision-making, your perception of reality gets blurred. The aim is to cultivate inner stillness, like calm water, so you can see things as they truly are.
That sounds lovely, but honestly incredibly hard. Modern life is just a flood. Information, demands, notifications. Stillness feels like a luxury we don't have time for. How does this ancient philosophy help with that?
It starts with acceptance. And acceptance here doesn't mean giving up or being passive. It means acknowledging reality as it is, not as you wish it were. It's actually a sign of maturity. When chaos erupts, a project fails, you get bad news to these bookends. The practice isn't to immediately jump into fixing the external world, it's to first observe your own mind's reaction. Notice the panic, the urge to blame, the fear.
Just watch it.
Watch it without instantly acting on it. By observing instead of reacting immediately, you create this tiny space, a pause between the event and your response. And in that space, your rational mind, your prohairesis as the Stoics called it, has a chance to step in.
Oh, okay. So you can then choose a response based on reason, not just raw emotion.
Precisely. You handle the problem with patience, with wisdom, instead of just adding more panic to the situation.
This leads us to another huge theme in meditations. Time. We hear live in the present all the time. It's almost cliche. But Marcus Aurelius had this, well, intense way of forcing himself into that present moment awareness. Because we do waste so much time, don't we? We put off important conversations, creative work, even simple kindness, acting like we have an infinite supply of tomorrows. We sacrifice the now for worrying about the future or dwelling on the past.
He saw that procrastination, that living as if time is unlimited, as a fundamental error. He really drilled down on the concept of memento mori, and remember you must die.
No.
Sounds grim,
A
maybe.
little bit, yeah.
But for him, it wasn't about being morbid. He famously wrote about reminding himself each morning, perhaps this is my last day. It wasn't meant to scare him into paralysis. It was meant to ignite awareness.
Awareness of what specifically?
Awareness that time is like sand slipping through an hourglass. It doesn't stop, and you can't turn it back over. The only moment you truly possess, the only time you can actually act in, is right now, this present moment. So that realization pushed him to approach every task, every interaction, even every smile, with a kind of urgency and sincerity, because this might be it. This moment matters.
So the point isn't just, oh no, I might die soon, but using that finite reality to elevate how you live now.
Yeah.
If today could be your last, suddenly petty arguments or worrying about impressing someone seem, well, pointless.
Exactly pointless. You start prioritizing what actually has enduring value. Your character, your actions, your contribution. Are you being true to yourself right now? Are you acting with kindness and justice in this moment? The greatest tragedy, he felt, wasn't death itself, but arriving at death without having truly lived. Meaning, without pursuing what matters deep down, without listening to your own conscience, without fulfilling your potential. Memento mori is the antidote to waiting for life to start someday. It forces you to live it today.
Okay, let's shift to hardship, because life inevitably throws curveballs. Failure, rejection, loss. That gut reaction is often, why me? This is unfair. This philosophy seems to demand we see that pain differently.
Radically differently. It suggests that adversity isn't just something to be endured, it's actually necessary. It's the raw material from which strength is built. There's a powerful analogy in the sources, comparing us to metal in a forge. Think of raw iron. When it's thrust into the fire, it probably feels like agony, right? Intense heat, pressure.
Sure.
But the fire isn't there to destroy the iron. It's there to temper it, to transform it from something relatively soft and malleable into an unbreakable sword. Life's challenges, setbacks, hardships, they don't break our core character. They reveal it, and they refine it. We only discover how resilient we truly are when we're tested. The obstacle isn't blocking the path. The obstacle is the path forward because it forces us to grow stronger.
So every setback is like a required workout for the soul, a mirror showing us our weak spots and forcing us to strengthen them. Can we stay kind when treated badly? Can we persevere after failing?
That's the heart of it. Pain, seen this way, becomes a kind of hidden teacher. It compels us to develop virtues we might otherwise neglect: patience when things go wrong, courage in the face of fear, empathy learned through our own suffering, the wisdom to let go of what we can't control. A calm mind. A mind trained in this way doesn't just try to escape the storm. It looks for the lesson inside the storm. Think about a major struggle you overcame years ago. Chances are, the strength or wisdom you gain from that is exactly what you rely on today.
That's a powerful reframe. Okay, let's talk about something very modern, but also timeless. Living for the approval of others. This feeling that there's an invisible crowd always watching, judging our choices, our clothes, our career paths. That fear of what will people think? It's paralyzing for so many people. We end up performing, curating our lives instead of just living them authentically.
And this constant search for external validation, likes on social media, praise from colleagues, approval from family, it's seen by this philosophy as a form of self-imposed slavery. You're giving away your freedom. You end up living a borrowed life, shaped by the perceived expectations of others. Marcus Aurelius saw this as completely futile for a couple of key reasons. First, the people whose opinions you're so worried about, they're mostly wrapped up in their own anxieties and concerns. They're not scrutinizing your life nearly as much as you think.
Right, they have their own invisible crowds to worry about.
Exactly. And second, public opinion is notoriously fickle. It changes like the wind. You'll never make a decision that pleases everyone. So, trying to win universal approval is literally setting yourself up for failure and constant internal turmoil.
So the antidote is just not caring at all what anyone thinks. That seems hard too.
It's more about radical self-honesty and self-reliance. It means stopping the comparison game. Stop judging your own messy chapter 2 based on someone else's carefully edited chapter 10 that they post online.
That's a good way to put it.
Absolutely. True freedom isn't about having no critics. It's about reaching a point where you can stand firm in your own values and genuinely say, I am enough. My worth isn't dependent on their applause. When you achieve that kind of self-sufficiency, that desperate need for external validation it dissolves.
Yeah.
And that brings a really profound, stable kind of peace.
All right, let's zoom out one last time to the biggest picture. You look up at the night sky, see all those stars. You feel tiny, maybe, but also connected to something vast. This philosophy seems to end by integrating the individual self into that larger cosmic whole. You see examples in nature, the sun shines, the trees provide oxygen, they just do their part without needing praise. The idea seems to be that our existence too has a purpose beyond just our own desires, a contributive purpose.
This is moving into what you might call cosmic citizenship. The Stoics, particularly Marcus Aurelius, believed in a rational organizing principle governing the universe. They called it the logos. When he reflected on the cosmos, he didn't see himself as this isolated, separate ego fighting against the world. He saw himself as a limb on the body of the universe, a thread woven into a single, vast, rational tapestry. We are all interconnected parts of this larger system.
And how does seeing yourself that way help practically?
Well, it fundamentally shifts your perspective. If you truly grasp that interconnectedness, things like envy, comparison, jealousy, even hatred, they start to seem illogical. Harming another part of the system is, in a very real sense, harming yourself because you're part of the same whole.
So understanding our place in the universe isn't meant to make us feel insignificant, but rather purposefully connected. Our role shifts from just looking out for number one to contributing to the health and harmony of the whole thing.
Precisely that. And this understanding, this deep feeling that your life isn't just random, but is a meaningful part of this immense, rational unfolding of existence. That's perhaps the ultimate source of unshakable peace. The constant exhausting struggle of me versus the world just melts away. It brings the whole journey full circle, really. You start by controlling your reactions, cultivating inner calm, living with purpose, growing through hardship, finding self-sufficiency, and you arrive at this cosmic perspective where internal peace comes from realizing you're not separate, but part of everything. So what does this all mean? The Meditations isn't just ancient history, it's a living guide. It's about awareness, discipline, and ultimately aligning yourself with the way things are. It's a path toward becoming that calm, steady, stronger version of yourself that honestly is already inside you.
Your mind is your fortress, as the emperor said. And the power to build and defend that fortress, it lies entirely with you. But it takes practice. It's not a one-time fix. So, here's a final thought, a challenge for you to take away right now. Think about one specific thing, not a person, but maybe a recurring worry, a future uncertainty, or an external expectation that feels like it's stealing your inner peace currently. Now, instead of fighting it or trying desperately to control the outcome, just for today, try applying one of these principles. Maybe focus on acceptance, accepting the situation is outside your direct control. Realize that while the outcome isn't yours to command, the peace you choose to maintain while dealing with it, that is absolutely yours. Start there. That small shift in perspective, that's where the real work begins.